Hey everyone, and welcome back. If you're studying for the CMA exam, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to put on our detective hats, specifically our efficiency detective hats, to crack the code on how well a company actually uses its resources. We're taking a really deep dive into one of the most revealing metrics you'll find in financial statement analysis in this explainer. Okay, here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. First, defining total assets turnover. Second, the formula explained. Third, comparing two firms. Fourth, fixed versus total assets. Fifth, common analytical mistakes. And finally, number 6, how to ace your CMA exam. Literally any company can generate sales if they try hard enough, right? But the real mystery, the one that analysts, creditors, and management are all constantly trying to figure out, is whether they're generating those sales efficiently or if they're just throwing massive amounts of resources at the wall, hoping something sticks. All right, Section 1, defining total assets turnover. Let's crack open the core definition first. The total assets turnover ratio is a measure of how efficiently a company is deploying the totality of its resources to generate revenues. Basically, think of this ratio as a giant magnifying glass on management's overall efficiency. It doesn't just zoom in on one department or one specific type of asset, it looks at the whole entire pie. Moving right along to Section 2, the formula explained. Because understanding the concept is great, but calculating it correctly, that's how you actually earn your points. Here's the formula, and it's honestly super straightforward. You just take net sales and divide it by average total assets. Simple as that. And generally speaking, a higher turnover means they're doing a great job using those net assets to generate sales. Now, you might actually be wondering, wait, why do we use the average for total assets? It's a really critical detail. Think about it. Balance sheets are basically a snapshot. They tell you exactly what the company had on the very last day of the year. But income statements, where we pull our net sales from, those represent a whole period of time. Sales happen all year round. So averaging the beginning and ending asset balances gives us a way more accurate picture of the resources they used throughout that entire period. Let's look at the actual numbers from our source material to really see how this shakes out. Say we have a company with $1.8 million in net sales for the current year. To find their average assets, we take the $1.8 million in current year total assets, add the $1.6 million prior year total assets, and cut that in half. That gives us $1.7 million in average assets. Then, you just divide that $1.8 million in sales by the $1.7 million in average assets, and boom, the company is turning over its total assets 1.06 times in the current year. Next up, Section 3, Scenario, comparing two firms. Because a number like 1.06 doesn't mean much without some context, let's set up a quick mini scenario to really build a case here. Picture two firms in the exact same industry, Firm A and Firm B. Both are bringing in the exact same top-line revenue, $1.8 million in net sales. But look closely at their asset bases. Firm A is operating with $1 million in average total assets. Firm B, on the other hand, needs double that, $2 million in average total assets. Check out the dramatically different turnover ratios that come out of this. Firm A has a turnover of 1.8 times, while Firm B is lagging way behind at just 0.9 times. Even though their sales are totally identical, Firm A is twice as efficient at using its resources to generate those sales. If you're an investor or if you're on the management team, it is super clear that Firm A is doing a way better job managing its overall asset base. All right, Section 4, fixed versus total assets. We really need to draw some strict boundaries around what goes into these different efficiency metrics, because the CMA exam loves, and I mean loves, to test your precision here. The crucial distinction is this. Fixed assets turnover strictly limits that denominator to your investment in net property, plant, and equipment. It's only measuring how effectively you use physical long-term assets. Total assets turnover, though, that includes absolutely everything. It's the totality of the firm's resources, current assets, fixed assets, intangibles, the whole shebang on the balance sheet. Which brings us to Section 5, common analytical mistakes. Let's play a little defense and look at the analytical errors that can totally ruin a solid evaluation. As an efficiency detective, watch out for these red flags. First, ratios are really only useful when you compare within a specific industry. It is a massive mistake to compare a highly seasonal, fast-moving grocery store, which naturally has a crazy high turnover, to a low-turnover business like a jewelry store or a uranium mine. It's apples and oranges. Also, you can't ignore size differentials. Economies of scale totally change the game when comparing massive conglomerates to smaller firms. And here is a very specific trap the exam is definitely going to lay for you. Remember that certain assets, like long-term equity method investments, don't directly relate to generating your day-to-day net sales. But because they're part of your total assets, putting them in the denominator is naturally going to drag your overall ratio down. Always be aware of how non-operating assets might be skewing the final number. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 6, Ace Your CMA Exam. Let's tie all this detective work back to your main goal, passing the test. The exam absolutely loves testing this ratio because it represents the broadest, most comprehensive efficiency analysis out there. It tells this sweeping story about how well management leverages literally every single dollar at their disposal, whether that dollar is tied up in inventory, heavy machinery, or just sitting in cash. Always keep this core principle from the source material in the back of your mind. A higher turnover generally signals more effective management, period. It's what allows firms to actually judge their own efficiency, pinpoint operational weaknesses, even if the firm as a whole looks profitable on paper, and formulate much better strategic plans going forward. So the next time you're staring at a test question that hands you a nice, simple net sales figure, but then buries it next to a massive, complicated list of assets, just ask yourself, are they really running an efficient operation, or is the truth buried in those non-operating investments? Keep your detective hat on, trust your formulas, and you are going to completely nail this topic. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy studying.